Welcome to another breakdown for a music video I shot recently for Toronto artist Akintoye. In this video specifically, we're going to talk about how I created 3 looks in just one space. Let's hop right into it. Starting with pre-production, we had a couple of meetings discussing the location, camera, and lighting. Starting with location, we knew where we're shooting, so we were able to plan ahead. With the pictures that were provided of the space, we saw that there was a lot of depth, so we knew we had to light up not only the talent, but also the background. Another thing that I noticed is I had the ability to rig some smaller lights to the roof. Talking about camera, the director Adit wanted to shoot mainly on a wide lens, so we got a 14mm and then a 24-70 as backup. The references we were supplied were Michael Jackson's Beat It and then Kendrick Lamar's Humble. We obviously shot this on the Sony FX6, and as I said before, we had this 14mm G Master and then the 24-70 G Master. On top of that, we had a lighting and grip package provided by a local rental house. We also rented a jib because the main shots were either going to be on the jib, sticks, or handheld. Let's start the breakdown with scene 1, the main warehouse. Our key light was frame left. It was a RE M18. And then we booklighted it, key our subjects. Booklighting basically means that the light bounces off a material and then we diffuse it as well. And that was lighting all of them. The second light we used was a Kino Flow light that we rigged on top, and then I had to add a tungsten setting. This was top lighting them and also providing color contrasts from the daylight RE. The next light we had was an Aperture 600, and we had this on a spotlight mount, which was used in 2 ways. The first way we used it was a secondary key for AK. This put some light on him as well as put long shadows on the ground right behind him. The second way we used this was in a very dynamic way. We had the operator move the light around in various different patterns and directions just to provide some more interesting things in the frame. The next light we had was the Aperture 300X. It was stuffed in this back room here on a Fresnel mount, and we used this to backlight the subjects. The last light was a RE Sky panel. If you remember, I mentioned earlier that this location had a lot of depth, so we had to light the subjects as well as the background. So what I did with the sky panel was stuff it all the way back at the end of the warehouse and use it to light up the ground, the crate, and just some objects in the background, and you can kind of see it right here. So let's move on to the lighting breakdown for scene 2, the hallway. The lighting for this was actually pretty simple, to be honest. We had the 600 and the 1200 shining through a 6x6 silk and backlighting AK. We did have to test out the positioning of the lighting a little bit so we could have this specific shot. And what I mean by that is we wanted these long shadows on the ground as well as a slit on the wall. The last light we used was the RE Sky panel, and this was honestly just camera left. It was bouncing up on the roof, and the reason for having this was to bring some levels back into the frame so the whole shot wasn't fully underexposed. Now let's move on to the lighting breakdown for the final scene. The lighting for this scene was actually pretty simple. We were just Hollywooding the 300 and key lighting AK. And for those who don't know what Hollywood means, it's basically just holding it in your hands. The special thing about the lighting for this scene is we were making it dynamic because it was Hollywooded, so we were moving it around in different patterns and different variations. So we'd light up AK, the background, and whatever else was there. And there's some specific parts in the music video where it actually looks really cool. So I'm so happy that it came out the way we wanted it to. So moving on to the key takeaways of this project. Like the title says, being able to light different scenes in one location, using dynamic movement not only with the camera but lighting as well, lighting for the space rather than the face, and lastly, I hate that this is gonna rhyme, but learning how to use haze properly because it elevates your footage by a lot. And that's it for this breakdown. I hope you enjoyed it, learned something, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Beat a little bitch, beat a little bitch, beat a little bitch, beat a little bitch.